Hello, kiddies. It's your old pal, John Cesar, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And you're listening to The Bottom Shelf.
We made it.
Oh,
Thank goodness we're out of that.
I have to go to the bathroom.
I do too, but I think I already did.
I'll clean that
Did
up.
you do it back at the hotel?
Wait, what? No, where am I?
Whoa.
No. I was in Ireland. I was in a pub. I was drinking a pint. What's going on? Why am I here?
It's Kevin.
Kevin!
What am I doing here?
Well, we had a trip with a dumpster.
Oh my! I left Dungeons and Dragons. I left your guys. I didn't want this. I did not ask for what. Who someone let me in.
We watched some weird movie called Bad Times at El Royale. So this for you could be Bad Times at the Bottom Shelf.
And there's the title.
Prepare yourself to discover a world of terrible movies. High above the planet Geekery, a group of intrepid explorers hover over the dangerous planet in their fabulous superorbital spacecraft. Their mission? To conduct a complete analysis of movies known throughout the universe as terrible. So grab your space popcorn, grab your freeze-dried ice cream, and join us for today's mission of discovery and wonder. Are these movies better than the galaxy thinks? Or do they really belong on the bottom shelf?
Welcome, movie lovers and movie haters and everybody in between. Thank you so much for listening to the new episode of The Bottom Shelf, where every bad movie has a place. I'm your host. Am I a host or am I just one of... I'm one of the hosts. My name is John. How are you? With me, as always, my captain, Dallas Mora.
I'm actually John. I'm just a multiple personality version of him. I'm actually talking as John in a different body, I think.
And then there is my admiral, Celeste.
What's up? I am not John in a different body. I am my own person.
I was a man in a woman's body once, but then I was born.
That's fair. That's very fair.
And then returning to us, our science officer, Kevin.
What? Why? I was having fun. I was enjoying my vacation. I was on holiday. What am I doing here? What am I watching? Wait, am I... You know, I'm done. Go ahead. Yes, I'm Kevin. Hi.
Hi. Apparently, protocol says you have to watch Batman 66 with us for Bat Month. So...
And that's a bad movie. Was it?
It's on the rating scale somewhere. Plus, we're doing Batman anyways all month long.
We're doing Batman, and quite frankly, a lot of people have a tendency to call this movie bad just because it's old and campy.
Where's your Robin? Where's your Catwoman? Where's your Penguin? You're not even cosplaying as these Batman. I thought you guys were... Okay, never mind.
We just got back from
Just
Geek
got
Con.
back.
We just got back from Geek Con, bro. I need to let my pores clear out from all the pancake makeup and grease paint.
And latex and
That
everything
was
else.
a very
costumes.
impressive Catwoman costume you had on, John.
Hey, well, you know, Halle Berry did it so well, I had to wear the same outfit.
You know, I really liked the moment where you and the Catwoman from the Tim Burton
Batman Returns
started doing a song from Josie and the Pussycats. That was fantastic.
Mm-hmm. And then we got all the rest of the Catwomen to do the Cats chorus line.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Also a fun time.
I was very confused why Black Cat thought she was part of the group, though.
You know, DC Marvel crossover.
It happens.
She wanted to have fun.
Where is the whole musical?
It was right after the Jawas.
Ah.
But we're not here to talk about GeekCon. If you want to hear about that, listen to our GeekCon review episode coming out either before or after this episode, depending on how editing goes for me. But we are here to talk about Batman 66.
Let's go. I'm excited about this because
Who wants to tell us about Batman 66?
we all awkwardly look at Kevin.
Why are you looking at me? Oh, why are you handing me the case? Okay. Should I read off the case or should I tell you about my memory of Batman?
Read the case.
Read the case.
Read the case.
Read the box, man.
Read the box!
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
The memory thing is retro. We're not on that podcast.
Who are they?
Just
What?
read the box.
Who are those people? I don't know those people. Holy special edition, Batman! Pow! Whack! Zomp! Oof! Wow, it's got all of right in the back.
Onomatopoeia.
Let's see. When Batman, Adam West, and Robin, Burt Ward, get a
Jiggy with
tip.
it.
Huh?
Get jiggy with it.
Yeah, get jiggy with it.
No.
Hey!
Make sure Will Smith doesn't come here and slap anyone around. Get a tip from Commando Smalap. Wow, okay, that's already starting off a good strand. Is in danger aboard his yacht. They launch a rescue mission, but the tip is a setup by 4 of the most powerful villains ever, who seek to defeat the dynamic duo once and for all. Armed with a dehydrator that can turn humans into dust, the fearsome foursome intends to take over the world. Can the Caped Crusaders use their high-flying heroism and groovy gadgetry? What? There's so much. Gadgetry. Thank you. To declaw Catwoman, ice the Penguin, upstage the Joker, and stomp the Riddler in time? 1966, 105 minutes. Oh, 105 minutes. Wow. It's not 2 hours. Isn't it glorious when movies are not over 2 hours long?
Here's my thing. They just said that they turn people into dries people into dust, and first thing that went through my mind was Kansas. Dust in the wind.
I was thinking they did that before
Dust in the wind.
And that's as much as we can play without copyright issues.
They don't care about us. They don't care about nobody. Whatever.
I don't
charge a nickel
Kevin, Kevin, I don't think we're in Kansas anymore.
All right, yeah, that's the movie. Wow, they actually gave us a PG rating. I thought these were all G rated.
Looks like that copy is one of the newer ones, so they may have re-rated it for modern ages.
Yeah, because everyone's so sensitive.
To be fair, before they fixed the rating system, it got pretty sketchy at times with some of the ratings.
No, this was the 60s. Nothing was ever sketchy in the 60s.
Go back and watch Goldfinger and then tell me that.
Facts.
I watched that on the plane ride over, man, and I'll tell you, I'm like, this was PG.
Have that kid,
Why?
have that kid leaning over like, what you watching, mister?
But that's not the movie we're talking about.
That's not the movie we're talking about. We're talking about Batman.
Yes. Well, you got some trivia for us about Batman?
You know, you would think I would, but I sat my phone down. Let me try to...
Nice trivia moment.
Nice trivia moments.
Yeah.
I forgot how much easier this was when you were gone. Alright, so Cesar Romero absolutely refused to shave off his mustache during filming,
His mustache?
and it was covered with makeup instead. Romero did the same thing on every episode of the TV series that he appeared in as the Joker. Needless to say, this constant decision to do this every single time fooled nobody.
So he was able to cover up the mustache under his lip, but not the cocaine line.
Why does it look better than when Henry Cavill did it in Superman?
No idea. I didn't watch the Henry Cavill Superman, so...
Because CGI.
CGI.
Adam West agreed to do the film partly on the one condition that he would have more screen time as Bruce Wayne in it.
That's fair.
And thus began the age where superheroes had to have their mask off for half of the movie just so the actor could have face time in the movie.
Because I would never know who they were.
Never.
Originally planned as the pilot film for the TV series Batman 66, the film was instead released between the end of the series' first season and the beginning of its second seasons. The producers took advantage of the larger budget to have a number of new Bat gadgets constructed, such as the Bat Boat and the Bat Cycle.
Did they have a bat bomb with a bat?
There was a bomb.
Oh, there was a bomb.
There was a
There
bomb.
was. Yes, I forgot
wasn't a
my
bat
old
bomb.
memories right there. Yeah, bat helicopter, bat copter, bat everything.
All right, and at about 59 minutes into the film, the Penguins line, "Careful, careful, every one of them has a mother," which was said as he and the Catwoman swept up and collected the dehydrated pirates was ad-libbed by Burgess Meredith.
Oh,
I'm going to exactly time that 15 minutes so I can exactly hear that.
do it.
Hey, shooting for the film began before Lee Merriweather was cast for it, and as a result, the Catwoman does not appear with the other three villains in the first scene that takes place aboard the Penguin submarine. And one more timestamp before we're done with the trivia. At about 15 minutes in the film, the Penguin's line in the film, "We shall hang together, or more assuredly, we shall hang separately," was a humorous phrase spoken by Benjamin Franklin when he was in danger of being accused of high treason by his fellow delegates.
All right. All right, guys. Well, let's get into our expectations.
Greater expectations.
Kevin, since you're back with us this morning, what are your expectations?
Is it morning? I was drinking oh, you know what? Whatever.
You were in Ireland. Now you're
It's
on those sides.
hours. Goodness.
This is a different side of the Planet Geekery than where you're at.
All right. What's my expectations? I remember watching this movie multiple times as a child. So I have very great fun memories and enjoyed it. And I remembered watching this movie with my family, mostly with my father, and I would request him to read out loud the bam, whap, pow, and every time it came up, he would read it.
That's funny.
So yeah, I sat there and I looked at him. He was like, "Pow, bam, what's up?" And it was like it just kept on going. I think this had more than a television show. I know television shows were like 25, 30-minute segments, and they didn't put it as often. But if my memory serves me correctly, this was a lot more into the.
I think there's a lot more action because those you had to do the premise, and then you got to the 3-minute fight. This is like. How long was that? 105 minutes?
Yeah, it was less than 2 hours.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a lot more action in this one.
And I remembered a shark.
Sharknado?
No. This one came directly from the ocean. There was no hurricane here.
Shark scene.
Hurricanes don't happen in California. Just earthquakes shaking off all the prosthetics and plastic surgery off people.
I remember the shark scene so much.
But there was the shark, and there was different colored powders on seats. Those were the two biggest things I remember from my childhood.
That's cool.
So with the powders from your childhood, did you equate them to pixie sticks and wonder what each diplomat tasted like?
No, I just. They never led to Lucky Charms.
I did not see this as a child. I saw this as an adult, and I also had that thought.
Was it your first time when we watched it with Dana?
No.
Okay.
I had watched it with my dad before.
Okay, good.
Well, Celeste, being as you stepped in here, everybody, this is one of the few rare times we are literally recording in the same room. Just to give you guys a peek behind the curtain here. You can probably hear it in the audio, but also we are literally have not watched this movie yet. So
yeah.
This is all a giant fun experiment for us. But being as Celeste has jumped in, why don't you go ahead and give us your expectations, Celeste?
I expect it to be entertained, then be bored, and then be entertained again. Because that's generally how this movie goes for me. I'm entertained at the front end of things. I kind of get bored in the middle, and then the end of it picks back up.
So it's quite opposite from the Robert Pattinson one, right? Possibly.
You weren't here for that one.
No, I've watched the movie like 24 times. I hear everybody else saying how much they get bored towards the end or
that
something.
movie wasn't boring.
I didn't think it was boring, but there's some people here who just can't pass a movie and enjoy anything in life.
Bro.
We're not talking
What?
about that movie.
It's
Tell
still
us what are
Batman
your
month.
expectations.
My expectations is I'm going to go on a wonderful nostalgic trip. I watched this as a young man many times. We had it recorded off the television on a VHS.
Same.
And we watched it over and over again as a kid. Many times, Devera and I, my sister, we used to have picnics in the living room, and we'd either watch this or we'd watch. We had a VHS tape of the Mystery Science Theater 3000, the movie.
Yeah, I had that one.
And so we would watch those, and we would nuke corn tortillas and put butter on them, and we'd just sit there and watch these movies. And so I'm having some nostalgia feelings. Last time we actually reviewed this movie for Com Talk because we introduced my other sister Dana to this movie, and ironically, this exact same kind of situation. Only this is a better microphone, I hope.
Hopefully.
I think I remember that episode
Yeah.
I think it was one of the ones that you salvaged for us.
that I tried to salvage. We won't name the server, but they did butcher some of the early tracks. I did my best to salvage them.
I appreciate it.
We won't name the server because we don't want to speak ill of the dead.
Because they are damn.
Do they not exist anymore?
They have disappeared.
You can say their name. Who cares? No copyright infringement.
They disappeared with our money. Anyway, so
What about John's? So we're gonna ask John.
I'm not done talking. So my expectations are to have fun, enjoy it with you guys, and laugh at the campiness of it, and just re-listen the moment. You're talking about the shark has already sent me down a pathway. So now, John, tag, you're it.
Okay, so I didn't know this movie existed until I was about 13 or 14.
Really?
Which is weird because the Batman TV show was my first experience with Batman.
Yeah.
I used to watch the TV show in Syndicate when I was between the ages of 6 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever it was on, and I loved it. I especially loved it when he would punch people and the onomatopoeia would show up on the screen. However, I didn't know they had made a movie about it until much later, about 13 or 14, when I was sitting at home one summer and while my parents were at work, and I was flipping through the TV, and I ended up on HBO, and there was a Batman movie starting, and it turned out it was Batman 66. I'm like, oh my god, they made a movie from the old TV show. And I sat down and I watched it, and I said, that was very much the old TV show.
Just longer.
Just longer. But I enjoyed it, and I've seen it multiple times, and I own it on Blu-ray. Although I haven't watched it since I've gotten it on Blu-ray. And I'll tell you how long I've had it. It came free with my copy of the Daredevil Blu-ray when that first came out.
Wow.
And when I bought it at Suncoast.
Wow, Suncoast.
I miss something.
Speaking of dead servers.
And I still have Batman. I no longer have Daredevil.
Did you watch the director's cut, the Daredevil, or just the?
Yeah, I've seen both. I saw it in the
I
theater.
still haven't seen the director's cut. Nothing.
It brings nothing.
It had a fun soundtrack.
So there's that. I enjoyed the movie for its campiness from what I remember. Again, because I haven't seen it since I was either 13 or 14.
Wait, it's been that long?
What?
It's been that long? Wait, I thought you said you got it on Blu-ray. You watched it again, right?
No, I didn't watch it again. I have it. I just haven't sat down to watch it.
Oh, my days.
My wife has an issue with trying to watch it because it's too campy for her, so I don't.
That's fair.
But as far as this is concerned, I'm with Celeste. I have a feeling I'm going to be entertained, bored than entertained. Outside of the shark and the powders, I remember a big bomb with a timer on it.
That lasted for like 20 minutes.
Some days you just can't get rid of a bomb.
And I remember him running around trying to throw it places, and there's groups of children over here, and then there's nuns over here. And then I also remember Robin saying, throw it into the bar with all the winos. And Batman said, just because people are riffraff doesn't mean that they don't have a right to live. And I'm like, wow!
I bet you I know what the NRA could do with that.
Oh my gosh.
But, you know, that said, though, I'm expecting a lot of poorly aged social situations on top of some really campy movie stuff, and I have a feeling I'm going to enjoy it for all the wrong reasons, but I'm still going to enjoy it.
That's fair. All right.
So, that being said, shall we watch the movie?
Let's go.
Does your Glix machine still work? Does she play the movies, or he, or whoever it is now?
Yeah, come on, I'll show you where the extra viewing pod is.
And stay tuned, children, on the same Bat channel for our non-spoiler follow-up.
Dear listeners, this is your opportunity to escape. Our crew has just entered into the media projection chamber. What horrors and madness that they consume are unknown. Their mental state upon their return is unknown. You have been warned.
No, I'm seriously saying they remind me of pixie sticks, and I want to know what the Mexican consulate tastes like. If it's like tacos.
I don't know. I mean, maybe it tastes like mazapam.
So we're back from the movie. Hello.
How long does a bomb device take when it's lit up?
Sometimes you just can't get rid of a bomb.
What kind of people watches Batman 1966 movie?
Apparently we
I
do.
think Kevin turned into the Riddler, man. Although I'll take this Riddler over the one that was in The Batman.
Dang. All right. Well, it's time to figure out this one's a bomb and what it needs to get rid of.
So, like, real facts. These are the villains that everybody imagines when you think of Batman. In my opinion, like, if they could have gotten the Riddler from The Batman closer to this Riddler, I would have been a little bit more appreciative, I think.
But we're not talking about the Batman. We're talking about Batman.
Well, this is the Batman. To some people, this is the Batman,
This is
not
true.
Batman.
This is true.
I mean, if you look at our social medias and the Discord where people are talking about it, there's some people on there like, yeah, this is my Batman.
Yeah. Speaking of which, so we went out to our community and we asked them for their thoughts.
Literally while we were watching it.
Yeah, and good golly, Miss Molly, you guys came out in droves for this. So, one person said, it was my first introduction to the Batman world, although I enjoy more Batman 89 and forward. Adam West and Burt Ward will always hold a special place in my memories. Because of nostalgia, it gave me a middle shelf. Or I'll give it a middle shelf. I rarely get an itch to watch it on my own, but if someone else watching it, I'm still down and enjoy it with them. One person says, I'm not sure I've actually seen it all the way through, which could speak wildly to their thoughts on the movie. Another person said, top shelf. It's a great adaptation of the Batman of the era.
So if you put it on a top shelf, that means you can't reach for it, right? It stays up there.
Yeah, you can't get rid of it. Another person says, the reality is, for 30 years, Adam West was the definite Batman. Many of us still have fond memories of the silly adventures, and while the more recent ones were grittier and more grounded in reality, using quotation marks, there is still something innocent about Batman 66. Plus, no one has really topped the dignity of Neil Hamilton and Alan Napier, Commissioner Gordon, Alfred, respectively. The only thing that could have made it better is to have Julie Newmar play Catwoman.
Yeah, there was nothing more innocent than the undertones they had in Batman West.
Oh, good lord.
Another person
completely innocent.
Oh man! Another person said the fact that they made 2 animated movies in recent years with Burt Ward. With Burt and Ward. I think it's a typo.
West and Ward.
Yeah, West and Ward. Reprising their roles decades later speaks volumes.
It does.
And genuinely, that does speak volumes about the value of this. So I'm just trying to see if I've got anything different on the other channels.
Same thing.
I have some pulled up here on your profile when you had reposted on your personal one, because that was the first one that popped up for me when I was looking for it for you. We got one here that says that all you need to bring a person dehydrated down to salt is a bit of water, and they will be perfectly fine, though they may speak a wrong language.
Wonder what kind of water they were drinking.
Shreveport water.
That's what's wrong with the Shreveport water.
And someone else wrote, just some days you can't get rid of a bomb. Middle shelf.
Yeah, fair.
Sometimes it takes over 2 minutes to get rid of that bomb.
Oh my gosh. All right, well, guys, should we get into our spoil-free thoughts?
I don't know. These people sound like they're already spoiled by their thoughts on Batman.
I'm going to jump in. I'm going to say this. I enjoyed the camera work in this film. Like, those parts where, like, it was all the villains, especially in the first half of the movie. like how it's all crooked and sideways and everything like that, giving that perspective of like these cats have genuinely lost their mind. I found that interesting.
Maybe if Battlefield Earth could have learned to cellular camera.
Oh no.
I think what I appreciated the most about this movie, and I can talk about it in the spoiler-free section, is the camp.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand that there's a lot of people out there who can't deal with silliness in movies or whatever, and for the most part, I'm in that same group. But there was something about the way they did it in this, and it's probably my connection to the source material, not the comic books, but the actual TV show.
Right.
That helps me appreciate the campiness rather than just being like, this is stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Holy John, are you? How can you?
Okay. But I think that I did have a thought several times throughout the movie that I would actually like to see a modern reimagining of this script.
Really?
Set in 66.
Mm-hmm. That would, like, with modern storytelling.
No,
skills?
with the original script.
Right.
But with
Just with the budget of an actual movie, our time, and modern actors.
That would be. Who would you have playing this Batman though?
This Batman? Brendan
Nicolas Cage.
Fraser.
oh, why does that work?
I'm going to tell you what. This is what we're going to do. When this airs, when this episode drops, I'm going to drop a poll in the Discord and on the Bottom Shelf Facebook page. I want to know how you would recast this entire movie with modern people, having played this version of the characters.
Are you saying you want me to say that, or you want the listeners to say that?
I want the listeners to drop their opinions.
Cool.
But we'll put a poll up in the on the Discord and on the Bottom Shelf Facebook page.
Or you can just watch the 2 animated movies they did
Don't do that.
30 years later.
Don't do that.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so to give you guys some background on that, Kevin made me watch the first 5 minutes of one of the
Batman
animated-
faces a toothface.
Yeah, and it literally sounds like an 80-year-old man when Batman's talking. It's hard.
Because he was probably literally 80 years old.
I still want you to watch it.
But yeah, no, there was a lot. I like the use of color in this. I've always appreciated I've always appreciated the color in the Batman series.
Yeah,
So.
that's actually a note that I had written down. Is I appreciate how color really pops. Like, it's a vibrant experience watching it.
Yeah, it was a nice opening to have the different colors come out. As John was saying as we were watching, it looks like the opening of a James Bond.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
There was a few times in the opening sequence where in my head I was like, Goldfinger.
Celeste, any non-spoiler things you want to say?
Not necessarily.
Just
Everything's been pretty well commented on. I liked Alfred.
Now I have to ask, because I know you have opinions on how women are portrayed in superheroes, specifically Lois Lane, as we've heard in previous episodes.
Talks.
Yes.
I don't think have I mentioned that on this podcast?
No, but if you listen to this show, most likely you probably listen to Com Talk. But I have to ask, so as far as the Catwoman in this movie, what is your opinion in that respect?
well, hold on. Would this fall under a spoiler conversation?
It would fall under the spoiler? Okay. Because I thought just at a surface level you'd be like, eh.
Let's cut to the spoiler section. It just gives us the open freedom.
Alright.
Well, maybe I should take my bat memory pills before we do this.
Ladies and gentlemen, the spoiler section.
Alright, welcome to the spoiler section. Celeste is about to answer John's question as to whether or not Catwoman was a decent portrayal of womanhood. Well,
She was a perfect woman for a movie from 1966. That's the way we view women today.
Clearly,
about
the
to-
man has just told me how to feel about women in the movie.
That's what we do.
Kevin's about to get kicked out of my house.
Yeah, he is. So, my issue is that she didn't really do anything.
That's fair. I mean,
Like, and it's not necessarily her fault, it's the writing. They wrote her to just be there and pet her cat.
well, to be fair, she was used as a seductress.
That's fair. She was. And then she did at one point go, here's a cat in the middle of a fight. But the actual cat did more fighting and more for the progression of the story. At one point she goes, Riddler, Joker, do something. Like, you can't go over there and push some buttons.
Right.
It's been a while since I've read that era of comics with Catwoman, but I feel like she was a lot more active in conniving and scheming and taking charge in situations.
Even if it was they wanted to play it to where she wasn't a physical character, having her be more of the mastermind would have worked.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying nothing.
I
I want to make jokes, but I can't because this is a family channel.
Well, you've been on the show before, Kevin. You know the rules.
Yeah, you just edit me out. You know, let me start rambling on so we can edit this off right now.
Oh my gosh.
So, I lost my train of thought.
We are in the spoiler section, so go ahead, spoil away.
No, it's not that. It's just, oh yeah, with Catwoman, I can't figure out why she had the claws in the movie if she wasn't going to use them. You know what I mean?
Ever. But-
she didn't scratch anybody.
It's a family picture.
Well, that's the thing is, it is a family picture, but it's also, first off, it's the 60s. Second off, the entirety of this thing is a kind of poking fun dig at the comic code, comic authority
That's fair.
was taking place at the time. And there were rules about certain things. And so you couldn't have excessive gore and cutting people up and shooting people. Like, if you notice, nobody really got hurt. You got people kicked off a boat,
That's
and they're in
Well,
the
they
corner.
could've- They could have even had her use the claws, like had her fly off the boat and use the claws to like claw her way back up.
Right.
Into the metal?
Yeah. Why not?
I mean, they
Because
had
that would be
Batman and Robin walking vertically up a side of a building.
They got saved by a porpoise. Her climbing up the sub with her nails would not be the most unbelievable thing.
And they used a bat bomb to explode the shark right there in the middle of the bat ocean with their bat skills using that bat spray.
And then they also
And a porpoise that blew up to save Batman's lives.
just happened to land on a mound of
The foam.
rubberized foam,
The whole helicopter just landed straight on it.
or the bat cycle that just happened to be off the side of the road next to where
Okay, so, but I have a question. The bat boat. Are all boats done with the, from my perspective, with the driver's side on the wrong side? Like, are they all British?
Yes.
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Did not know that.
Yes.
Go on a boat and you find out.
No, thank you.
I like speedboats. They're fun. So, we did while we were watching. I said, if we ever get a boat, a speedboat, I want to be like that.
And I want a submarine that looks like the Penguins.
Yeah,
So-
get a speedboat to crash right into the submarine like Indiana Jones.
I really want like to see a millennial watch this movie. Like, and I'm not being a generationalist here, but not so much you, Celeste, because you're one of the older millennials. But I'm talking about the really young ones, or possibly
The ones that are almost Gen Z.
yeah. I want to watch them see this, and when they get to the office, when they start looking up customer accounts, see someone flip through a Rolodex.
Oh no, that would be like Gen Alpha that you would want.
No, I think
Who do we sold this weapon to? Let's check this out.
I think the younger millennials will be just as confused by that situation.
They got TikTok. Their time cannot
Somewhere out
withstand
there.
past 20 seconds of something.
Somewhere out there, someone's asking their parents, "What's a Rolodex?"
Oh my gosh. I'm sure there's a lot of things though. Like I remember growing up going, "What the heck is that?" So.
And then, okay, so something that came up while we were watching this movie. Why was it whenever they did their heists, everybody wore a mask?
Yes.
Like, you're in branded costumes. And you're gonna wear a mask.
It's like, we know who the Penguin is. We know who the Joker is. Why are those two wearing masks while they're doing this?
Well,
heist?
maybe if they wear a mask, they can't discriminate them.
It's like, I'm like the only one who natively wore a mask in that fight was the Riddler. And I'm like, what's happening here?
Catwoman wears a mask too.
But she wasn't in the fight.
She doesn't fight.
That's true. But she was there.
Yes, but she was meant to be a
She looked
decoy.
pretty.
She's meant to cheer them on.
Miss Kitka.
Kit Kat.
I am sorry, but can we just say that Batman's an idiot?
Yeah.
Oh, this one is.
I mean, y'all, I can appreciate Adam West. He was my first introduction to Batman, as many of you, apparently.
His acting was phenomenal.
Oh, if you say so.
Oh yeah, this is Oscar worthy.
It takes a lot of talent to act that stupid.
Madam, I want to tell you, there were several times where I thought I was listening to William Shatner.
But again, this is the thing. This is camp. That was the point of
Like,
the
they
whole
knew
deal.
what they were doing.
Like, the script was like, just do this, and like the whole the seductive scene where he's like wooing her with his words. Like, there are points where she herself, I think it was the actress, not the character, that rolled her eyes with, really? We're doing this? Like, it was just the way the script was written out for it.
They were just intentionally just looking at you as they were saying their lines and winking at you. Yeah, we did that. Thank you, parents, for bringing all your children to the cinemas to pay.
You gotta wonder how many outtakes they had of her going, really?
I would like to see outtakes from this film.
This was before everyone liked the blooper reels.
So, I have to ask a question because I'm finding myself in a conundrum here. For those of you at home, we did something that we've never done before with this movie. We literally sat down, recorded the intro and everything else, and then watched the movie when we said we're watching the movie. Mm-hmm. In the same room together.
Yes.
So this is a first for us. So we can ask some different questions on this, such as the one I'm experiencing now. Has anybody else, now that we've just got done watching a movie and you're trying to think back to something to talk about in this movie and you're starting to realize this movie is entirely forgettable and there's not a whole lot that sticks out in it?
I mean, the shark.
Yeah, see? Just like I said at the beginning, the shark before we watch the movie, because it's just little highlights that makes the film. You can remember those, but everything else, the whole story, everything is extremely forgettable.
Again, I've watched this many times, so I'm at a disadvantage for what you're wanting. At the same time, the thing about it is, this film plays out less as a whole film and more like one story spread out over 4 episodes of a show.
Yeah, very long television show.
It really does feel like it's just a long episode of the TV show.
I wouldn't even say episodes, plural. There's definitely, there's always the 3 acts that are in a film. This had 4 different acts coming together to, you had the first act where you're discovering who it is. You had the next act where it was dealing with Miss Kit Kat. And then you had the other act where they're like, oh, they're stealing the people. And then you had the 4th act where it was finding the villains and rescuing them. It was multiple shows in one. And I think that's part of the problem. This wasn't a movie team writing this script. This was a TV crew writing the script.
That's fair.
And they probably could have turned this into a mini series or a special for TV, or 2 specials rather.
Well, beforehand in the trivia, didn't you say this was supposed to be a pilot movie?
This was originally supposed to be the pilot episode for the TV show.
So that might explain some of what we're looking at here.
Yeah. Some of the writing choices.
Well, they racked in all that Batman cash dollars because, it was strong during that time frame. Mm-hmm. Because Adam West and Burt Ward,
Yeah,
he would go out. They would go out in public and just do the same thing that George Reeves did as a Superman, and it just was a Batman craze.
Mm-hmm.
Kids loved it. Batmania. Made everyone buy more stuff, toys, and so forth, and celebrate them.
I would have loved to see a George Reeves Superman meet this Batman.
Oh.
Well, he might have to take a bullet to the stomach, but sure.
No. Batman doesn't use guns.
No, everyone else does though.
Let me ask you. Let me ask you guys this. This will be an interesting. This will be an interesting game we can play together, being as we're all in the same room. If you were to take this movie and just replace one thing about it to make it better, what would it be?
Writing the story
Okay.
right, but have better writers.
Okay.
In what way? Like, what would you rewrite specifically?
I write better jokes, better comedic undertones, because a lot of the jokes or whatever fell flat.
Right.
Like,
At the same
I think
time,
even for that time, because you want to make it for adults and for children to somehow, sort of like what early Disney Pixar would do. They made a joke.
See, but the difference is that you're thinking of that as a modern.
No.
I was thinking
There's-
as a casual family film going
there's no wrong
all
answers
together.
to this.
no. I'm just curious of the expanse of it, because because people go, oh, it needs better writing, but nobody explains what does
No,
that mean, better
because-
writing? What
because
would you have done?
Have a way of writing it where it would be entertaining for adults and children to watch together, so that way if years pass down the road, I never caught on a joke. Okay, it was a bit advanced, or I was too young, or so forth. I mean, they did it with stuff like Back to the Future. They did stuff with all the other films, like sometimes even maybe something, I don't know, just a way of just writing it in a way where it wasn't just cashing on a sensation during the time, but that if someone was to go back and rewatch it years down the road, they could appreciate it as they were a child or younger.
Right.
Or as this one, even though I may have appreciated it more, probably much more as a child and so forth, me watching it now, I'm like, man, maybe it was, I'm not one of those people like, it's really my childhood. I get tired of those people.
so
Those people
you-
get choked and die. I don't care.
You would have changed the scope of it to be a little bit more inclusive to an older audience.
Yeah, while keeping some of that still childlike harm and so forth.
Yeah.
I mean, not harm, childlike wonder.
Yeah.
What about you, Celeste? What would be one thing you would change about this movie that you think would make it better?
Probably some of the effects. There is no reason that we should know that the shark was pinned to that ladder. They had ways to do it, so it had to have either been lack of budget or intentional. But if they had done it in a less obvious way, then it might have worked a little better.
They used all the rubber for the helicopter. They couldn't have used any more rubber for that shark.
I am curious though, because we watched it on a pretty high quality copy, DVD, on a PS5, on a decent TV. We're not doing 4K like John does, but it's a pretty solid TV. I wonder how we would have felt about it if we had watched this on a
CRT?
Yeah, CRT TV on a VHS or original broadcast, if the effects would not have felt as abrasive to us.
I feel like that they would have. Because it's almost like it was intentional. Like they wanted you to know, hey look, we put this fake shark here. It was part of the gag. It was part of the making fun of things. It's just, for me, I would have smoothed it over a little bit and done better with the practical effects.
See, with me, when I start thinking about that, then the effects that were in this movie, in the back of my head, and I could just be pulling out personal biases on this, but it almost seems to me like I think about it and I see some Hollywood executive mook sitting behind a chair somewhere saying, they're kids, they don't care, they don't know any better anyway, just use the cheap crap and then just let the money roll in, huh?
Well, and especially if this was meant to be a not promo, what's the word we used earlier?
A pilot.
A pilot, then that would make sense that they would just be using whatever they had.
I'm looking up the budget right now because now I need to know, but yeah.
Yeah, but if they had done it a little bit smoother, because you can make it campy while still doing all the practical effects justice. Because let's face it, the only CGI were the words effects. And I'm not even sure that was CGI. That
No,
might
they would literally hand draw those.
I was about to say that might have been rotoscoped.
I'm fine with how the style and how it looks on the screen. That's me though.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I don't need a CRT television or distortion or even a super high glossy 4K edition. I was fine with the presentation. It worked for it.
It worked for it.
What about you, Dallas?
I would have tried to tighten up the scripting for the portion with the penguin in the middle. That's the portion of the film that drags for me when we get into that whole thing of getting him back to the Bat Cave and that whole you were unraveling the plan of dehydrating everybody. There's something about the portion that it drags. I'm not sure why. I don't know if there's more.
Maybe he needed more henchman powder.
I guess so. But there's just something about that whole segment of the film that just. All right, let's get to a point. So I don't know. Again, that's about the only thing I think of off the top of my head right now that I would have changed about this script in the 60s. Now, I am curious how this would have played out using your idea of modern day reworking, how it would play out.
Mm.
It would probably be on level with like Sharknado.
I was thinking Velocipaster, but I can see your
Instead of a shark, it just says
insert shark here.
insert FX shark here.
They should have had just like a prehistoric bat attack Batman. No.
All right, so my thought on this concept came completely out of left field, and this is the thought I had that inspired this little roundabout.
Just left field, not center left field.
No, this is way out in left.
Way
field.
left.
What I was thinking was I'd want to see what this movie would have looked like if Hitchcock would have directed it.
Oh.
I wouldn't. I would be like, I know he wouldn't. So who cares?
No, but can you imagine? Like it would be like the 1960s version of The Batman.
Yeah.
If Hitchcock would have, if Hitch would have directed it.
Nah.
That would be fun.
Sorry.
That would be interesting.
I could rock that.
I just need an Elseworlds version of this movie, basically.
Or you could have Cecil B. DeMille. But then again,
Let my UN go!
But then again, no one kills more people on screen than Cecil B. DeMille.
Well, he did crush an entire nation with a giant body of water in 10 Commandments, so...
Oh my gosh.
Now people are listening. They're like, who's Cecil B. DeMille? Get off TikTok and look what a movie is.
Why do you sound like every angry old man?
Yes.
These darn kids on the dicky talk. I can't tie my shoe because of you.
Okay, I'll sound like a different
Do you want us to program your VCR for you, Kevin? That's what you're sounding like. Like, you need us to program your VCR. You're like acting like that old guy.
Yeah, I'm trying to sound like my old guy, Dad, okay? Of course, I'm using less swear words, okay?
But all the same, though, just to kind of bring it back. You okay? Yeah, I think...
He's just thinking through the laughing.
We're good.
All right.
Why that to you little freaking kids?
But, this... I don't know. It's pretty...
It's okay. For me, it's okay.
I mean, does anybody have anything they really want to talk about this movie? Was anything super impactful for you at all? Like, we even hit the spoiler section, and it's just like, there's like the 4 parts in the movie that we talked about. You got the shark, you got the bomb, you got the powder people.
Again, it's like each act had its specific thing, and then it went on.
Mm-hmm.
The only 2 things stuck out with me is coloring and camera angles.
Yeah.
How you shot the film and the colors on the screen. Everything else, even the music, very mundane, very television show-like. Acting, again, it's because it's based on television show, very television show.
Yeah.
A lot of jokes. I mean, other than saying bat everything.
Yeah.
It would have been great if they would have had the monkeys walk across the screen. Just a cameo.
That would have been funny.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, again, also the commentary on life and society through the eyes of the comic code. There's always a lesson. There's always remember, Robin, this is that. Like that constant, like it was a satire of the comic code and everything at the time. Mm-hmm. And so that's like, if you don't realize that, you miss that point. And so
it is something that outside of its own time, you have to take into context.
Mm-hmm.
Who was supposed to be the one mocking I can speak English, mocking the president because it felt like it was trying to mock a president during his time.
I didn't really see it as a mocking. The president was so nondescript in this movie, I had to look up who it was.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know who was president in '66, it was Lyndon B. Johnson after the Kennedy assassination. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Yeah, we're so quiet. It's like
We had a moment of silence for President Kennedy. So
Indeed.
I don't think there's a lot. This isn't really a talk around the water cooler type of movie. So let's go ahead and get on over to our how we're gonna rate this.
Well, let's remind the public of the rating system, John.
That
Yeah,
sounds-
remind me too. You guys changed, don't you?
We have changed it since Kevin was on last.
We have. I was actually going to cue Dallas to do that as a part of that transition, but
Go ahead, John.
I thought you were the one who did it.
Thanks for stepping on that for me.
Wasn't she your admiral? Respect your admiral.
I thought you were the one who did it. I'm sorry.
I got it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we here at the Bottom Shelf have a 4-part system here.
Oh my
First
Lord.
off, we have the top shelf, which says, I need to own this movie. I want it on DVD and I want it now.
What about 4K or Blu-ray? Does it have to be DVD?
4K, DVD,
Own the physical
streaming.
media.
Oh, I'm sorry. You can't own streaming. You lease it. Thank you, Sony. So, all right. Second shelf is middle shelf. I'd watch it maybe if it was streaming. Next is bottom shelf. Probably won't watch it again, ever. And then dumpster fire. I will actively try to keep people from watching this movie.
Nothing's more distracting than just throwing the fire. That way it actively stops people.
To our knowledge, nothing has ever made it in the dumpster fire, except for the one movie, The Fog, and it's because we have video evidence of it. So,
We did.
we do. We have video evidence of The Fog going into the dumpster fire. It's on a YouTube channel called The Dapper Man.
Oh my day.
But being as Kevin is our guest instead of an actual host this time, Kevo, why don't you go ahead and start us off with the ratings?
For me, I'll just put it on the bottom shelf.
Just on the bottom shelf?
Yeah. I'll never really have to see this movie again unless if I have, I guess, what? I wouldn't even introduce to my niece and nephew, really. Because I figured I would maybe one day. And I was like, right now, I'm just foreseeing their future, their time expanse of just focusing on something. It's like, nope, not focused enough.
Okay.
All right, well, Celeste.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this movie?
It's okay. It's not my favorite. It's not one that I'm necessarily gonna throw in myself, just to chill at the house and watch a movie. But if somebody's watching it, I'll watch it. So I'm gonna put it as a middle shelf.
That is fair.
That's fair. For me, and before I do, I want to say we've gotten a couple more responses through Discord and Facebook and stuff. It's been a mixed bag of like middle shelf, bottom shelf for a lot of the people. Even the people who are like, oh, this is like, the best, this is what I grew up with. But for me, I struggle. When we did the review of the movies for, I rated all the Batman movies on one of our streams. I put it as A tier because of what it was.
Yeah.
It's not a A or S tier film though. It's legitimately like there are points where you're like, gosh. But as a fan of the franchise that I am a Batman fan. I like Batman for various reasons. Check out the latest episode of Geek Devotions if you want a ridiculous reason why I do it. But I own this movie. And so with our top thing being, top shelf being like, I want to own this, I can't not say top shelf. I genuinely want to own this. Is it one that I pull out all the time and watch? No, it's not. But when you come to conversation about Batman history, this is one you have to bring up. Like, this is a big ordeal. So, top shelf.
Top shelf? Really?
Top shelf, buddy.
I mean, I understand for history. I mean, I own it too. I have it on Blu-ray, but I think I haven't owned because I have it because of historical starting of Batman. But
Right.
Last time I watched it, it was, good lord, I think like 15 years.
Yeah.
10 or 15 years, and I have it. It's been 10 years.
Right.
It's
To be
2024
fair,
right now.
It takes 20 years to go through your entire movie library you have.
I think it would take 30
So,
with all the movies I have.
So
and
if you're going
gross.
to make the rounds, it takes a hot minute.
Yeah, I just got more movies from that video store not too far from here.
Yeah. Speaking of said movie store, want to throw out a quick plug before I do my rating.
Oh yeah, champion.
We aren't sponsored by this company in any way. It's just Kevin discovered a video store in West Monroe.
Like a video store whisperer, just I seek it out and it's right there.
He discovered a video store in West Monroe, Louisiana. So
Now, hold on. When we say video store, it's not just a place to buy videos.
no, you can rent.
This is a rental place.
For real.
Yeah, you can rent and buy at the store. So if you are in the Shreveport, Bossier, West Monroe area, that place, go check out National Video Superstore over in West Monroe. I was over there today, and I bought a copy of Cujo and talked them up, and they were gracious enough to take some advertisements for the bottom shelf. So go show them some love if you can. But that being said,
Support your physical media stores.
support physical media.
Word.
So that being said, my rating on this, I too own the Blu-ray for this, and I have not watched it since I've owned the Blu-ray. I own it, like Kevin was saying, for historical purposes, and because I do enjoy Batman as a character. And until Ben Affleck became Batman, I wanted to own every Batman movie. And then Ben Affleck, as he does with everything, ruined that.
Come on. He was a good Bruce Wayne.
Okay. And...
He was a good Bruce Wayne.
Concurred.
okay.
Thank you, Dallas, for concurring.
Now let's let him finish.
and so I've never watched it. I don't dislike it, though.
Okay.
You know, it's like, when people put it on, I'm willing to watch it. Like, I was thinking about this. Would I watch this again on my own? I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think I would want to watch it at home. I have it for sentimental and collecting reasons, and that's about it. I think I would be more prone to watching the movie because where I do enjoy, not the movie, the TV show, because where I do enjoy the camp, I need it in smaller doses.
Yeah.
It's like when you're a kid, you can eat more sugar than you can when you're an adult and not feel sick because of it.
That's a fair point.
And this movie is very saccharine, and so I would have to say that I would probably give this movie a low middle shelf.
Yeah.
Because I'm not gonna put it on if it's streaming, but if someone else puts it on or is interested, I'll sit through it.
Curious, how would you feel if it was a Mr. Science Theater 3000 situation?
It's hard to say because those can be really hit and miss. Or are you talking about watching somebody else do that or do it myself?
Do it ourselves. Like if we were to do a Mr. Science Theater 3000 of it, like, and I say that we almost did. Like there are a few times where we were talking about the movie rather than making fun of the movie. Mm-hmm. But this film falls in that category of there are certain films that I love to watch when I'm with people.
Yeah.
Because we can laugh, we can talk about it, we can make jokes the entire time. In the safety of our home, not in a movie theater because you get popcorn thrown at you, but they make it more enjoyable when you're with a crowd of people. Like, I enjoy The Princess Bride, not as much as Celeste, but I enjoy it quite a bit. But when I'm with people, it's even more fun. Mm-hmm. Like a few weeks ago, we had the opportunity, we watched The Princess Bride with some friends from Puerto Rico, and it was hysterical.
It was.
I think it would really depend on who I was there with. Mm-hmm. With the four of us, probably, if you were to bring Bam in here, or possibly Damara, I would probably...
Lord.
See, a movie like this is something you have to watch as a group. You can't watch by yourself. Like, saying, for instance, you watch like one of those movies where people saying, like, The Room. You don't want to watch that by yourself. You have to watch it with a group of people.
Or Plan 9
Plan 9 from Outer Space.
Yes.
Watch it with a group of people. Don't watch it by yourself unless you're just the person who watched it was a child nonstop and grew up.
Or the Leprechaun movies.
Or, yeah, that would probably be good as a group of people. I think Leprechaun had a lot more comedic tones and much more fun.
I think
this one.
I think it's more locked in time, but like we talked about the comedy a little bit. It's definitely a locked in time comedy. Like it's the standard of the comedy of the 60s.
So,
yeah.
So to answer your question as succinctly as I can, it would honestly just depend on who I was watching it with.
That's fair.
Because there's some people I can vibe real well with and with the jokes and stuff with, and there's some people who are just a stick in the mud to try to do something like that with.
Right. That's fair.
Some people are born with more than just sticks in the mud, more got to stick up something else. But yeah.
Oh man.
And there's Kevin pushing that envelope. All right, so there you have it. I think we came in on a middle shelf on this one, a disputed middle shelf.
I think so.
Yeah.
Middle.
I was bottom.
Bottom, I was top.
Yeah, disputed middle.
Disputed middle. So there you have it. Rank and file. Let's get on over to the This is a Weird Connection. Thank you, Matt. Saw you this weekend. Love you, brother.
So thankful we have the actual audio clip that you can play.
You think I'm not going to put that on the episode?
Oh, it'll be there. I'm just hopefully you can cut it to the real one.
This is a Weird Connection.
All right, welcome to Week Connection. This is the portion of the show where we take something terrible and make it redemptive. And this time we're talking about Batman from 1966. And
So it is redemptive.
Yay!
Wow, okay.
So I'm talking about there was we kind of joked about it on the front end of the show where Robin's like, "Why did you just let it blow up in that place of reference?" And he was like, basically was saying, look, they still have value. There's a possibility for them to be redeemed. And that whole scene right there, it's been kind of eating at me a little bit there while we're watching it. But there's this aspect of showing partiality to people that we like for one reason or another. And James talks about this in James chapter 3. Now, contextually, he's talking about people showing preference to the people who are rich. But the idea, the thought process of it continues out across the board, not showing partiality to rich people, but just people in general. Just because somebody is, like in the show, like I said, a vagrant, or somebody who, we look down upon because, this or that. First off, you shouldn't be looking down upon them. Like, they're still people. There's still opportunity for people to be redeemed. They may be somebody that you disagree with, whether it's because they're doing something criminal or they do something that they're actively involved in a sinful lifestyle. That doesn't mean that we should look down upon them and treat them like second-class citizens and do stuff that harms them. We need to look at people as people and love them, care about them. We are on the back end of being at GeekCon, and we started going to GeekCon. We started Geek Devotions because we saw people treating geeks and nerds like second-class citizens.
Yep.
And showing the grace and respect of actually being present, loving people where they're at, and walking them through things in an appropriate manner. We saw people just yelling at people and degrading them, shouting at them. And that's ungodly. And so my weak connection, again, pointing back to James, is stop showing partiality. There are people who I like. And again, there's a level of there's people you just jive with, you click with. And that's a thing. That happens. I'm not saying that it's not a thing. What I am saying is that doesn't mean you are disrespectful and just absolutely just rude to and mean to because you don't like them or because they do stuff that you disagree with. They're still people. When we're on the con floor, there are people who they did not like our message at all, but because we showed them grace, because we were genuinely kind to them, they respected us. And when we're able to do that as Christians, that opens the door for them to hear the message that we have. That opens the door for them to hear the gospel of Jesus Christ. But when we're jerks and buttholes about things, when we're just like, just let them burn, that closes the door completely, forgetting that they still have the opportunity to be redeemed, just like we did. We were all sinful and terrible individuals at one point in time, yet Christ saved us because somebody opened that door for us. So that's my weak connection.
And Admiral, the Admiral at Dallas took the Admiral's message.
I figured we had the same one.
Oh, yeah.
What about you, John? What's yours?
I don't got one. I said that already.
Yep.
You got anything?
Sure, I got one.
Come on.
Micah 6:8. I'll just read from the English Standard Version.
The extra sanctified version, my brother.
Yeah, I think everyone who's listening to this podcast speaks and understands English. So why not continue in this English? He has told you, O man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice, and to love kindness, and to walk humbly with your God. I believe there's just, I know what Michael was saying to the people of Israel right there, but Batman was a figure of his time, with even with this comedy, so forth, is always doing the right thing, and also to make sure that, to love people and so forth. Not so much sharks, you could blow up a shark, but who cares? And porpoises. But don't blow up ducks with a bomb.
Yeah, he'll kill a shark. They'll kill a porpoise. But if there's a duck
or a cat, that's a no-go.
That is a step too far.
To be fair, all he did was punch the shark and spray it off him. He didn't know there was a bomb in it. And the porpoises did that themselves. He was like, "Hey, porpoise! Ah!" and told him to come and jump in front of it, all right? He's not Aquaman.
The porpoise happened to be there.
But he was nice enough to not to the people in that bar, vagrants live and so forth, not throw a bomb at them. Not throw a bomb at them like some of our current politicians would with each other. But anyway, surpassing that, we avoid nuns, children, and everything else. But, he was reminding his boy what do you call it? Robin? Sorry,
Yeah.
I was trying to think. I kept saying boy wonder. It's like, Robin, you don't have to beat over our head like a crowbar with Jason. Just, we know it's Robin, okay?
Oh my God.
So, yeah, treat people with love, kindness, and do good to others. Because, walking humbly with God is most important, as we have witnessed in our current events at GeekCon up here in Shreveport and so forth. Because even if people does deny it, which is often, even myself have done it before, even if we don't recognize it, we all need Christ in our lives.
Yeah.
And maybe some more of those Irish policemen and Scottishmen with the thickest accent ever, talking like this, Batman, go save the people out there. It's like, who talks like that?
I got Officer O'Malley. That's who talks like that.
No.
I really want to look up this guy and see if he acted anything else. And if his accent was actually something different. Like, he talks like that, but then he's like, gosh, so it's like, I can't even do anything. He's actually Russian or something like that. That would be hysterical.
Still
Is
better.
broken. You'll do Scott.
It's still better than the Egyptian guy being played by a Scottish guy in the second Highlander.
No, the Spanish guy being played by a
Spanish.
Scottish guy.
I misremember.
Yeah.
We don't talk about that movie.
That's why we have movies like Short Circuit, okay?
Well, everybody, we're going off the rails here. This is what happens when we're all in the same room. It's why it doesn't happen very often. So, what are your thoughts on this movie? Pop in and tell us. Shoot us a message on any of the socials or on the emails. Check out the website, notplayinggameswithstrangers.com, but geekdevotions.com, and there you can get in contact with us or find out how to get on the Discords or the socials or find out about other shows we have there. Am I missing anything, Captain and Admiral?
I think that's it.
Think again?
All right. Well, until next time, stay devoted.
Peace and love.
Where's that button to push me back to iron? Get me off this ship!